Okie dokie.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. You're listening to Ultimate Affiliate Marketing. I am your host. It's Paul Motley. So if you're listening on the podcast, but if you're on YouTube, you can see us and we're just waving at you there. Today, this is going to carry on with our series about Forex trading and the passive income that can be earned alongside of it. So we are still dealing with trading, but we're also dealing with the affiliate marketing side of things as well. But I have another special guest. Now, this guy actually is instrumental in a lot of people's success, especially in our group, because he was able to code custom indicators that we use every single day. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Kevin Orme. Kevin, how's it going, man?
It's going really well, Paul. Thanks for inviting me on.
You're welcome, man. You're welcome. It was nice to have a little chat as well, because we had a little chat before we came on, and there was so many things. Like, life is full of coincidences, right? And we found that we've visited the same parts of the world. We've got a lot of different things in common. Even though you're right where you are, I'm right over where I am as well. But I just wanted to ask you, because when we're talking trading, we're not talking like we're not all like bankers. We're not all like finance whizzes and stuff like that. Everyone comes from different backgrounds. So if you just want to let us know sort of like what your background is and how you started with trading in the first place.
Yeah, no problem. Well, basically, I come from a policing background. So when I was a youngster, literally 19 years of age, I joined the Metropolitan Police in London, and I spent the next 30 years of my life doing so. And it's one of those jobs, I look back now, and there was never a day where you got up in the morning and really thought, oh God, I've got to go to work. It was quite an interesting job. And then since I've come out of that was about 10 years ago, I left the police. I then worked with an old colleague of mine. So I was doing some what you call risk assessing on financial institutions around the world, especially in sort of the Middle East and Africa. So I've traveled to, I don't know, probably 200 countries plus. It just, the list is endless. But it was a very interesting job, which gave me, in certain areas, I was able to see certain things that went on in the banks from their trading rooms, which sparked off a few ideas, and I'll say that for the moment. But having been a police officer, etc., in various different guises within the job itself, and then traveling, doing this risk assessing, the trading actually started way back in the early 1990-ish. When literally, if you were going to place a trade, you were calling up your broker on the phone. And I had a broker, bearing in mind I'm in the UK, I had a broker in Chicago. So I'm literally like trying to say, I want to buy one lot of pork bellies or whatever it was. It was commodities that we were using, and so on and so forth. So, but there was a guy named Ken Roberts. I don't think he's even still with us on this planet, but instrumental in commercially in the US, providing courses and education. And I was fortunate enough to purchase one of his courses. And then I actually met the guy twice, once in Chicago and once in Orlando. And it was interesting because the live sessions that we had gave us a real good grounding in the basics of what Forex is, what a Forex currency can do, and also obviously what commodities can do, i.e., live cattle, because you can trade all this stuff, as you probably know, oil and whatever else it might be.
Reminds me a bit of that movie, Trading Places, when you're talking about pork bellies and stuff, So that's
I've seen it, and every time I see it, I have a giggle about it, because really and true. I mean, I'll tell you a quick story. I was into the trading, but of course I was a police officer, and I was actually, and I put my hands up on the covert side of the world in terms of we were out there on a surveillance team. And I remember leaving home early in the morning and sitting there thinking, I've got to call the broker, but I can't exactly leave the post because we were observing certain things going on. So I thought, well, in for a penny, I'm going to have to make the call. So I made the call in the car on my phone to the broker in Chicago, and I didn't realize some clown in the car decides to flick the transmit button, and everyone can hear me ordering 2 lots of pork bellies, November pork bellies, which got broadcast across half the Metropolitan Police radio system. And then I got sort of ribbed for it for a long time after. You can imagine police canteen culture. It's the same in all jobs.
Yeah.
It's not all serious stuff. And
No.
everywhere I went, it was Pork Belly Kev.
Oh, I was going to ask, did you manage to get a nickname out of that?
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, all right. I don't mind a beer or two, but that wasn't the reason why. It was purely because Pork Belly Kev was how I became known, and I still bump into old colleagues now. So no, how's the pork bellies going? But I don't trade that anymore. I trade currencies. So that's how it started, and it progressed. But from my own perspective, I became so busy on a serious note with the police world and family, of course, young family came along. I literally had to give it up. I just couldn't do what I wanted to do the way I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And with the communication systems, I was actually getting the charts that you see on your screens, and I'm sure you've showed them on some of your videos and stuff. Charts on the screen, I'm literally getting them sent by post, and I'm putting in the prices each day, a little dot on it, and it was just not the atmosphere, the right way to do it.
No.
Now, of course, we've got technology, so it's a completely different ballgame.
The world of internet has its uses. So
exactly. I mean, once that took over, and now we've got what we've got in terms of the trading platforms and the free platforms that we can use to put a chart on. Yeah. No updating, no manual updating. Everything's electronic. So we've got it a lot easier now than we did then. That's for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, I've mentioned before that when I first started trading, I was just completely alone, going off a couple of YouTube videos, and I very quickly found that I was able to wipe out my account almost overnight. So, and it was like these dreams of, riches and buying an island and all that sort of thing disappeared very quickly when I checked in my account to find that it was empty. And have I been scammed for a start? But then when I looked into it, it was purely my fault, because when you are placing a trade, you have the option to have control over that trade if it goes the wrong way. So I didn't actually put that control, what we call a stop loss, on, and it went the wrong way and blew my account, and that was it. So for years I just swore off it. And what's interesting is that now you are also part of a group of people which have come together to help others to not only learn about it, but also to not make those same mistakes as well. So how did you actually get into that group itself? When did that sort of happen? And what's sort of motivation for you to keep going with it?
The group, I'll tell you what happened. I was actually on a marketing course, if you like, presentation in the UK. And I was looking at various other products, not related to Forex. And the presenter actually was the leader of our group.
Oh, really?
And I don't know if you're referring to names, I can do.
Yeah, Paul. Sure.
Yeah. So Paul, who runs our group, he actually was giving a presentation on a completely different product. And I just happened to be speaking to him during the lunch break, and the word Forex came out. And then I started to question him, as you would do as an ex-police officer, and sort of grilled him a little bit. And then before the lunch was over, I'd actually joined a platform where we can get some tools, the tools that we use now. And of course, as a result of that, Paul invited me into the group, our main group. And then I came into the group, and I sort of sat there quite sort of passively, really, initially. And started to work my way around what's available. So it sort of reignited what I was doing before, but now I've got it, I don't have to wait for those charts to come by post. It's all there for me on the screen. So the major benefit of that was that there was sessions where you can go on and ask questions on particular times during the week, which was extremely helpful. One of the members on a Monday evening Brian does an 8:00 session, which I'll be able to get on and ask. And then, of course, the tools that were provided within the platform that we use was just no end of education and tuition. So at my own pace, I could just take the time, recap on what I'd done before, get up to speed with what's available. And I just realized, well, this is, why didn't I do this? Why didn't Paul come along 10 years before when I was fiddling around a little bit? So yeah, it's really down to Paul and the advantages as a result. I can explain a bit more if you wish, or would you rather?
No, I mean, that was another thing that I found massively helpful, was the fact that we do have this group of people, and they give their time freely as well to everybody else that's in the group, just to help them out. I mean, I was on a beginners session, whether I think it was Tuesday night, and I'm talking about proper beginners, people at some point almost completely computer literate, but they were still walking it through step by step. There is no stupid questions. There are only good answers. And that was the sort of thing that I liked. I like the ethos of everyone coming together to help one another without any motive for gain. And that's something that we spoke a lot about on my podcast, because that's something that I do, is give out as much information as I can, adding value to people without the motivation of gaining personally. And I think that's what attracted me to this group. And for anyone that's listening, you are going to be able to get sort of like, I would say, a soft access to it, because we have like the main group, but we also have a light version. So if you imagine, like, you've got Coca-Cola, but you've also got Coke Light, right? So
yeah, exactly.
There's a few missing ingredients that you can't get until you actually join proper. But I did want to touch on something, because it is important, and a lot of people now use this, but you actually programmed your own custom indicators. So how did that come about?
Well, I try and keep it as brief as I can, but one of the platforms we use is called TradingView.
Yeah.
And TradingView basically is a free product that there is a paid version, but the light version of the product is good enough to get going with. And we started looking at certain strategies, and for those that are listening, I'm not really sure what I'm talking about. It's just a system that we might want to apply to a chart to give us an idea when to enter a trade, and maybe when to exit a trade.
Yeah.
And one of the strategies we used, which actually originates from the Academy platform that we also use for resources. We used it a lot. We were showing it to our group, trying to help each other. And then I suddenly realized that the platform which offers a thing called alerts. But we needed to be able to transfer our little idea into TradingView.
Yeah.
I had done some programming in the past through self-education, and I decided to have a go at it. And lo and behold, it worked. And so I applied it, spoke to Paul, and Paul was gobsmacked, mainly because he said, would you realize that what we normally do is there's 4 or 5 of us that are on the phone saying, quick, look at this currency pair because it fits our criteria.
Yeah.
So now that we can take all that away, you just get an alert come through your email, on your phone, on your computer, and it's all done for. So that's really how that come about. And then as we as a group came together, we started to throw some ideas out there, and people coming back, newbies, experienced traders coming back. Well, what about if we did this? And we fine-tuned it slightly, and we got the products that we had. I mean, and they're available, obviously, to anyone that's in our main group. So it's a great tool, even if I say so, purely because you do not have to now sit at a screen all day. You can literally get on with what you're doing, set your alert, and wait for it to come to you through your phone, whatever. And then you can either take the trade on your phone, or obviously go back to your computer, whatever you decide to do.
Well, I think
that's really what that's all about.
You've got to be really modest there, because I think this indicator that you programmed yourself has been instrumental in a lot of people's success in what they're doing, rather than having to stare at blank charts themselves and trying to have to figure it out all themselves. We have the backup of the group, the live sessions within the group, and the indicators sort of like to say, now is a good time. It's up to you if you take it, but now's a good time, right? Yeah. So, and that's a key thing, and it has worked tremendously well, and it continues to.
Yeah, it's one of those indicators. that can help you with virtually any strategy. That's the thing. Once you get the to grasp the principles behind it and why we put it together, you can actually apply it to almost any type of strategy to give you those learnings, the alerts, and also some entry points. So it's not going to say to you, it will say to you, you know, if you're interested in this trade going in this direction, you might want to take notice of this, because we've drawn a lot of criteria together and put it all out there for you. So all you've got to do is look at it, reanalyze, take the trade if you want to, obviously with your own risk and reward, etc. But I think I don't normally. You're right. I suppose it's one of those things that I don't gloat about. It's not in my demeanor. It's more like I like to help people. If it works for us as a group, I'm a team player, always have been. For me, if I can get it out there and it cuts out 80% of the work, so be it. That's good for me. It's good for the group. It's a tool that I use. I don't just produce it. I mean, this is what I trade with. So, you know, it's not like we're just doing it as a product as such. It's something that you won't find in other groups.
And I think also as well, it's also a massive time save for people. And this is one of the obstacles that people think, that doing something like this takes a lot of time. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but I think it was either yesterday or the day before, I timed myself on how long it took from getting an alert to actually putting the trade on it. And because I was explaining it, it actually took longer. But if I was, and even then, it only took me 3 minutes. So
that's amazing.
I think most people can probably carve out 3 minutes in a day, or 3 minutes when they get an alert. So
it's a no-brainer. And that's what you get a lot of questions. You know, I've had it. I'm sure you do all the time. You know, how long is it take to trade? What time of day do I need to be in front of my computer? I mean, this thing runs 24/7. Weekends, you probably want to refrain from it because it's restricted. But Monday to Friday, or late Sunday night till Friday evening, there's ample opportunities any time of the day. The markets don't stop. So it's really a matter to suit your lifestyle, really.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, we have a lot of these things come up on an app called Discord, which you can download onto your phone and you get a notification from. And then, of course, you think, notifications come through. It doesn't matter what time of day it is. It could be anywhere. And you just think, now I'll go and have a quick look. If it's any good, great. If it's not, carry on with the rest of your day.
Absolutely. And that's the beauty of it is, I mean, we, as you've mentioned already, that we do have live sessions. So during the week, we have a schedule in the group. So we'll have members of the group come on and trade and on a live session, or at least look at some setups. If there's nothing that we can trade straight away, we'll try and put some setups together so that you can literally print the chart out if you wish, or mark up your own chart, set the alert and walk away. So even if it's all not done for you as such, but at least they're there, give you an idea, and I like
to call it done with you. That's
done with you. That's a much better phrase.
That's the terminology that we have, especially like in affiliate marketing and anything like that. We have kind of like three type of things. We have the do it yourself, done with you, and then done for you. And we're heavily in the done with you section.
Done with you. Absolutely.
Right.
And I think that's a great way, because it entices people when you're doing something to ask questions as well, you know, on the lives, which are recorded and they can use them as a resource anyway. And that's the beauty of it. You know, I mean, I do live sessions. I'm on hold at the moment because I'm doing a couple of other things, but you know, I usually do 3 hours a week in the group, sometimes 4. And you can, when you're on, you know, when the majority of the group comes on, there's people asking appropriate questions. That, I mean, there's no inappropriate questions. You have a bit of fun as well. But that's the idea of it. At least you can get on. And I think that, you know, what the biggest benefit to me was when although I did have prior knowledge, it wasn't all sort of new terminology for me when I came back to it. It was still meant that I came back initially. I was on, you know, it's just me. I'm looking at the screen and thinking, well, okay, I've got this. But with the group, it's like being part of the big happy family, because you can get on and share your successes and
Yeah,
you're going to get them, and the odd loss. And it's a much more of a sort of a team spirit and a good environment to be within. And I think that helps massively if you're starting with no prior knowledge, to come in knowing that you've got a platform that we use for an education, but we provide like a supplementary support, if you like, by producing the live session, so that you can come on and ask and watch. And even if you're not, you know, if you're not that good at coming forward, you know, if you sit back in the background for a while, it won't be long before you start asking questions, because we're that type of bunch, you know, we're a friendly bunch, so you can get involved pretty quick. But the support is there, and that's what keeps me going. I enjoy the trading anyway, but I do enjoy the environment that we've created as a group as well, which is
there's a lot of I think, especially over these last however many months or whatever it is, it's great to sometimes I'll just hop on the sessions just for extra contact with people, you know, and just have a bit of a banter and a bit of a laugh, you know, because and it's great because we've got people in different parts of the world. Then pretty much all the time zones are covered, so people can hop on no matter where they are in the world. They can see a session coming up, hop on there. And sometimes people, it seems like some people just come on for a chat. So,
I could name a few, but I'm not going to.
And I mean, and it is nice that way, because you have got a group of people there together. We're all aiming towards the same goals. We all have, you know, and the sense of humor is quite good, and it's very relaxed. I've never heard anyone get really serious or really controlling or you know, there's been nothing like that. It's always been very lighthearted, very amicable, very welcoming, and it's super awesome. But now we're getting towards the end. I just want to make everybody aware that you can kind of get a try before you buy access to this. We have what we referred to earlier on as a light group. So I'm going to put the links for that in the description of the video if it goes out on YouTube, but also in the show notes onto the podcast. And it's super important that people do go to the show notes. And I keep repeating myself over and over again, because there'll be a link there where you can get in and you can try it out. Come and check out what we do, see how it fits. And if you like it, great. We can move on from there. If it's not for you, no harm done. But Kevin, thank you so much for coming on, man. It's been awesome.
You're more than welcome, and hopefully we'll see some of your guests on some of our live sessions soon.
Cheers, man.